Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. And as always, is your host, Tricky, and it is another solo episode this week. First of all, just like to say, that weather has been horrendous this week. So hopefully everyone's driving safe out on the roads. I know driving home today from work, recording this on a Tuesday, so if I just turn my laptop around because I don't really want to see my reflection as I'm recording this. And I was driving home from work, and the road was full of water, so we had to kind of drive around that just to get over to the other lane. But anyways, moving on from that, an eventful week in footy it was. So rundown we'll go through. Obviously, we'll go through our match reviews of the games, team of the week, Supercoach, and Marty Party 22, and our tips as well. And I've teed up definitely a co-host to come on every now and then. And what we're going to just do, I don't know if I mentioned last week, but just a rotation of people coming on. But I got one locked in, hopefully for next week. So stay tuned for that one, and a couple of guests as well. So not just footy content, just guest episodes in general. But let's move on to Friday night, Collingwood v Geelong, and it was the Magpies going down again, and they are in some real trouble. They went down by 20 points to Geelong, 10-11-71 to 13-13-91. Elliott kicked two. That was the only multiple goal kick for the Pies, while for the Cats, Cameron, who wreaked havoc, kicked three. Stengel and Neale both kicked two. Nick Dacos had 32 and 11 clearances. John Noble of halfback had 28, 8 rebound 50s, 7 scoring moments, and 798 metres gained. While Still Stybottom also had 28 off halfback with 9 intercepts and 9 rebound 50s. For the Cats, this guy's having an unreal season. Maxi Holmes, 27 at 82%, 9 marks, and 511 metres gained. Myers, 27, 7 marks, 5 clearances, 1 goal, and 9 scoring involvements. While Stewart also had 26 to go on with 9 marks and 5 clearances. As I mentioned, the Pies are in real trouble. They currently sit, I believe it might even be as low as 13th. Let me just pull up the ladder at the moment. Yes, they currently sit 12th. And they've got the 13th place Hawthorn next week. So they're in some real trouble. Dan McStay played his first game back from his ACL injury in the VFL and kicked a goal. But there's some real trouble at all ends of the ground. Darcy Moore's out of form. Isaac Quainer played on Jeremy Cameron, but I think he's had a very below par season compared to his previous seasons, especially his last season where he was in the All-Australian squad. But yeah, the Pies are in real trouble of missing finals. So, yeah. Geelong with a quick start, kicked 3 goals from just 11 disposals. The Pies hadn't even registered a possession. Oh, that was a hard watch, may I add. That was just a hard watch. Darcy Cameron was dominant in the ruck up against Sam De Koning, who's not known necessarily as a ruckman. He had 38 hit-outs at halftime and finished with 58 for the game, while also working hard back in defence, putting himself in holes. So I think that's what Darcy Cameron's a bit underrated with, the way he can push himself back and get into those spots. Isaac, as I mentioned, Isaac Quainer went to Jeremy Cameron and he looked to just niggle all times, not allowing Cameron to get a run at the footy. Is Tom Stewart in trouble? I don't believe he got suspended. Jamie Elliott kicked 2 on return. And, geez, did Pies fans give a heart attack when Nick Dacos grabbed his hamstring after a tackle. But, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think with the Pies, what they need to do for next season. As we moved over to Saturday, and we'll touch on one of our former guests, favourite of the show, in a second. But it was Hawthorn v Fremantle at UTAS Stadium down in Tassie, and Hawthorn got the job done by 13 points. 13-9-87 defeated 10-14-74. Sicily with a surprise move forward, kicked 3. Bruce and Deere kicked the 2. Banfield the only multiple goal scorer for Freo with 2. Will Day. Sorry, guys. Will Day had 24 to go along with 6 clearances and 8 score involvements, while Warple also had 24. Brayshaw had 23 to go along with 6 tackles and a goal. And Sarong had 22, 7 clearances, 6 tackles, a goal, and 8 score involvements. But the one I wanted to touch on, the Wiz, Nick Watson. with ice in his veins, finished off that goal from the boundary line and sealed the game. And didn't he love it? And the boys got around him. It was really good to see. And I really loved one of Kane Corn's comments on the AFL post of him when someone said, how can someone call him the wizard when he's kicked 7 goals, 19? He replied, this won't age well. And I'm I've got big raps on our former guest, Nick Watson. James Sicily switched forward in the second half, was crucial for the Hawks, kicking 3 goals. He put his hand up to play, but he clearly wasn't physically capable of playing. It wasn't capable of playing, couldn't lay a tackle with his shoulder. So Clark said, instead of dwelling on it, let's find out what he can do. And he went forward and took a really nice pack mark too, but ended up kicking the 3 goals. So it's going to be an interesting game with Collingwood and Hawthorn Saturday, Arvo, 4:40 p.m. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Sydney v North. And North stayed with them for the first bit of the game, but Sydney ended up getting away with it by 79 points, 138 to 59. McDonald responded with a bag of 4. Papley also kicking 4. McLean, Warner, Amati, and Park on return also kicked 2. Lachie kicked 3, and Zerha kicked 2, as well as Toby Pink kicked 2. Disposals, this guy just knows how to rack it up out in the wing. Errol Gordon had 41 to go along with 5 clearances, 15 inside 50s, 3 goal assists, 15 score involvements, and 738 metres gained. Warner had 31 to go along with 2 goals, 14 score involvements, and 638 metres gained. Harry Sheasel had 29 to go along with 5 clearances, while Simpkin also had 26 to go along with 1 goal, 2 goal assists, and 7 score involvements. McKercher had 25. The Swans welcomed back skipper Callum Mills and hardhead Luke Parker. And Mills started off on a wing. He'll build into his later part of the season. He had 12 disposals goal on the goal, but didn't Luke Parker make a splash on return. Coming on as a sub, he was a late into the game after Sam Wicks pulled out. He finished with 13 disposals, 2 goals, 4 clearances, and 6 tackles, immediately making an impact. Errol Gordon, Chad Warner, what can I say? Both having huge games. Parker coming on as a sub, as I mentioned, and Logan McDonald responds after a forgetful 2 weeks. It was really good to Logan McDonald. He'll not want to think about those 2 weeks, but he responds by showing a big presence up forward and kicking 4. Western Bulldogs versus Carlton now, and the lid's back on down at Icon Park. This might come as a shock to some people, but it was the Dogs getting the job done by 14 points. Some of their young players standing up, that being Hugo Hagan and West, kicking 4 each. Kuno kicked 3, but it'll be a day to forget for him. 3 goals, 7 he kicked. Buku Karma's playing on him. Mackay kicked 3, Cripps and Owies both kicked 2. Dale had 31, going at 81% efficiency, 7 intercepts, 8 rebound 50s, a goal, and 638 metres gained. The skipper, Cripps, had 28 to go on with 11 clearances, 8 tackles, 7 inside 50s, 2 goals, and 550 metres gained. Akers had 27, and Walsh had 27 to go along with 6 tackles. The Dogs responded of their big loss last week to play late. And the question is, the Dogs are so hard to read. Like, they're so inconsistent. They're good down at Marvel. They win here and they win there. Are the Dogs really good? What do you guys see with the Dogs list? I'm big on the Dogs list, especially when you've got Marcus Bontempelli in there. And when Jamal Ugle-Hagan's firing with that best on-ground performance, I believe the Dogs can really do anything. So it's just about getting that consistent footy together, and I think the Dogs should be something really to reckon with. Will it be this season? Not sure. Next season? Possibly. As I mentioned, Jamal Ugle-Hagan was dominant up forward after a shaky start from the Dogs. He kicked 4 goals, but he also had 20 disposals, going with 6 marks and 13 score elements. Paddy Cripps did all he could in his 200th game to try and drag his side over the line in his 200th game, as you read out his stats for 28 and 2 goals. Buku Karma, as I mentioned, was sent to Charlie Kuno, and Charlie failed to cash in, kicking 3 goals, 7. The Blues lost key player Zach Williams, who's been switched forward and been really making an impact, to another hamstring injury. And Cody Waitman, what a mark from the Flea, flying high onto not a normal size person, but the ruckman Tom DeConing's shoulders to pull off a great mark. That was a great mark to see. Don't know if it's going to rally Bobby Hill and Jamie Elliott, but he'll take the bronze finish, Cody. Saturday night and a wet game. We saw Adelaide v St Kilda at Adelaide Oval. And it was Adelaide getting the job done by 32 points, 71-39. Scholl and Thilthorpe kicking the two. Keys, Fogarty, Dowling, Himmelberg, Murphy, and Rochelle, single goal kickers. Sharman and Wood kicking the two. Philippo kicked the other one for the Stains. Laird had 31 for the midfield for the Crows with 7 clearances and 13 tackles. Dawson had 26 to go with 5 clearances, 9 tackles, and 565 metres, 62 metres gained. Saligo had 25 to go with 5 tackles, and Keys had a huge game to go, 24 disposals, 16 tested, 5 clearances, 8 goals, 8 inside 50s, and a goal. Well, Wanganeen Malira does what Wanganeen Malira does, had 28 to go along with 7 marks, 7 intercepts, 7 rebound 50s, and 666 metres footy. Wet weather footy, but the umpires failed to adjust to this wet weather footy as well. Like, some of the deliberate calls that they gave was absolutely atrocious. Of course, balls are going to be flying off people's boots in the wet. It's going to be hard to control. It should be common sense. Common sense needs to come in to consideration when giving these deliberate free kicks, and the umpires just didn't utilise that. Riley Thilthorpe, geez, didn't he come back in some ripping form? Came on as a stub, looked like a man on a mission, just grew the bit out. He absolutely built now. Came on after three-quarter time and didn't seem, the wet weather didn't seem to faze him at all, collecting 7 disposals and kicked 2 goals as the Crows went home with the win. And didn't even get to sing the song. Had to go out and finish his run-throughs after the game, which I think is a bit harsh. What do you guys think? Let me know that one. Melbourne v Essendon down at the G on Saturday night as well. There's a couple of games that aren't there for some reason. I will get that up on my laptop soon. But yes, the other night was Melbourne v Essendon. Melbourne getting the job done, 13-6-84, defeating 10-7-67. Goal kickers Fritsch and Turner kicked 3, while Melksham and Pickett kicked the 2. Martin was exceptional for the Bombers in the wet, kicking 4. Dersma and Langford both kicked 2. Langdon off a wing had 31 to go along with a goal. Rivers has been excellent in the absence of Christian Petrarca, 29 to go, 8 clearances, 7 tackles, 8 marks, and 7 intercepts. Neil Bullen had 25 to go with 6 clearances. Clayton Oliver had 25. Ridley had 29, the general down back at 90% efficiency, 10 marks and 9 intercepts. Shield had 28 to go on with 5 clearances and 6 tackles. Really making a good return, Dylan Shields. Good to see. Martin had 26, going at 85% efficiency to go on with 4 goals and 9 marks. And Zachy Merritt had 25. And the D's get it done without the skipper and ruckman Maxi Gorm, which was really good to see that they can show fight in the midfield. Jacob Van Roy and Harrison Petty doing a lot of the ruck work. And just Van Royen's fight in there, and then the midfield to be able to apply pressure around the ball was key to why they won that. But really, I think this is a game where Sandro missed out on really cashing in on a big game. He'll be disappointed on that one. Because Kazao Pickett celebrated... Sorry, guys. Pickett celebrated his 100th game and finished with 2 goals from 15 disposals. He's been a really good player, and he's just building to what he possibly can be. He'll play another 150 to 200 games and will go down as one of the great players. Nick Martin showed his class in the wet. We did mention that. Now we move on to Sunday. The very first Sunday game was Gold Coast v Port Adelaide at People First Stadium. And it was the Suns keeping their unbeaten record down there intact. As I just load up the scores there. And it was getting it done by 14 points over there. King, 96-82. King, Roses, Humphrey, Lacocious all kicked 2. Horn Francis and Mead kicked 2 for Port. Flinders had 30%, Throws going at 80%, 1 goal and 11 score involvements. Anderson had 29 to go along with 11 clearances. As I just load up the notes from my laptop as well. 11 clearances, 5 tackles, 8 inside 50s, and 1 goal. Yes, as I was fiddling around with the camera there, sorry guys, a little bit of malfunction. But yeah, to load up the notes on my Word doco. Yeah, so Butters, 35 going with 12 marks and a goal. Flinders, we mentioned 30. Anderson was exceptional with 29, 11 clearances, 5 tackles, 8 inside 50s, a goal, and 11 score elements to go along with 528 metres gained. Butters, we mentioned, 35, 12 marks and a goal. 8 score elements and 554 metres gained. Houston had 34 to go with 9 marks, 9 rebound 50s and 551 metres gained. Rosie, 29 to go with 8 clearances and 5 tackles. Farrell had 27 at 85% efficiency, 8 marks and 627 metres gained. Broke had 25, going at 84% efficiency, 9 marks and a goal. Talking points was the Suns. The Suns should be playing finals. But the fact is they can't win away from home, and it's actually disgraceful. Like, they should really be playing finals, and I'm really disappointed in them because Damien Hardwick's done the best he could with this list, and this is how they just simply can't win away from home. That's the bottom of it. I don't think they deserve the way they play at home. They deserve to play finals, but just because they can't win away proves that maybe they don't deserve to. Maybe they're not mature enough to be playing finals yet. Jason Horne-Francis now, didn't he cost his team a bit and just couldn't get into the game? They niggled him. They got under his skin. So that's something I think other teams will look at as well. As we move over to Richmond v GWS. And it was the Giants getting it done by 24 points over the Tigers. 17-6, 108 defeated, 12-12, 84. Goal kickers, you had Toby Green and Hogan both kicked 4. Ward kicked 2. Cadman, Riccardi, Bedford, Briggs, Jones, McMullen, and Thomas all kicking the 1 each. Well, you had Steely Green kicking 3. Kaziski, Bolton, Mansell with the 2. Baker, Rioli. That's Daniel Rioli, Ryan, Banks, Hopper. Banks, Banks, they kicked a behind. And disposals, whereas you had leading the way was Tom Green, as he always does, with 37, Whitfield 35. But are the Giants back? It's the question. I think this is more the Giants, although they didn't get it done by a big margin. This is the Giants we've been waiting for to come around. So that's the Giants have been waiting to come around. So let's have a drink. Interesting to see how they go in the finals. But the Tigers hold their head high. They actually did quite well. And the last game of the round, and Toby Bedford. Is Toby Bedford one of the most unluckiest men in the AFL right now? I think he might be. That was a disgraceful call. A disgrace. How you can get 3 weeks for that is mind-blowing. Yeah, I said it, mind-blowing. AFL need to get their shit together. In the last game of the round, we also had a big suspension, this one. West Coast v Brisbane, and West Coast stayed with them in their first game against, with Jared Schofield as interim coach, and it was good to see Adam Simpson out there and showing their respects to him and getting to toss the coin, doing the little marmalade, look up into the air was good to see. But it was the Lions getting a job done by 13 points, 14-9-93 West Coast to Brisbane, 16-10, 106. Goal kickers, you had Allen with 3, Ryan in his 100th or 150 with 2, Waterman 2, Cripps Hutchinson with his first AFL goal, Kelly, Brockman, Edwards, Williams, and Yeo with the 1 each. For the Brisbane Lions, you had Lohman with 2, Danaher, Neale, Cameron, Hipwood, Rayner all with 2, then Bailey, Archie, Ashcroft, and Dunkley with 1 each. Disposals, you had Lachie Neale with 34, and McCluggage with 32, but to go along with his 34, Neale also had a whopping 13 clearances, so it's a massive game for him. We'll talk about him in a second. Dunkley also had 26, while Kelly led the way for the Eagles with 29. Now, first of all, I want to say is we might be witnessing equaling history here. Lachie Neale could well be on his way to winning a 3rd Brownlow medal. There's only been three people to do it, and the last person to do it was in 1971, I believe, as we just load that up. Brownlow medalists. It was in the 1970s. Yeah, 1971, Ian Stewart was the last person to win a third Brownlow medal in a row. The question is, if Lachie Neale wins the third Brownlow, does he go down as the best player of our generation? Like, I get it, there's Gary Ablett and Dane Swan, and I mean, not Dane Swan, Gary Ablett. Sorry. I get it. There's Gary Ablett, Buddy Franklin, the likes who won 2, Chris Judd. I would be saying them over them, but at the same time, you can't argue with 3 Brownlows if he was to win this third Brownlow. So let me know in the comments below, where would Lachie Neale stack up amongst them if he was to win this year's Brownlow to add 3 to his tally? And Charlie Cameron, another unlucky person, copping 3 weeks of that. At this point, I don't even want to discuss about it. It's just a disgrace to him. Now we go to Team of the Week. And I posted it on the socials. If you haven't already seen it, let's have a look at if it's reached anyone. Yes, so we got 84 accounts reached there. Go give it a like. Go give it a share. Comment what you think is wrong, but I will read it out here while I've got it up as well. So defenders, I went with Jordan Ridley. Ben Mackay had a whopping 17 intercept possessions on the weekend, and Will Powell was excellent for the Gold Coast Suns. Half back line, Bailey Dale, Stephen May, and Dan Houston. Centre line, Errol Gordon, Lachie Neale, Ed Langdon, pretty stock standard there. Half forward line, Nick Martin, Logan McDonald, Brian Myers. Full forward line, Tom Papley, Jamar Ugle-Hagan, Toby Green. Midfield, I went with Lloyd Meek. I thought he was exceptional with the 50 odd hitouts. What did he get in the end? And he's had a really good season, Lloyd Meek. He's shaped that Hawthorn midfield along with it, as we just load up here. 51 hitouts had in the end. I thought he was exceptional. And then Chad Warner and Paddy Cripps. On the interchange, I had Lockie Whitfield, Trent Rivers, Jacob Wiedering, Zach Butters, and Rory Laird. So let me know what I got right, what I got wrong. But now it's getting close to the end of the season. It's getting close to finalising teams. And now that means it's time for this. The Amati Party 22. Let's go. Come on now. Up and about for the Amati Party 22. Ah, yes. The Amati Party 22. Now, I might have been off a bit there because I don't actually have my headphones connected in. As I'm doing a solo, I'm trying to do it a bit more natural without the headphones on. I've got the mixer in front of me, but if I was a bit off, I do apologise with it there. The Marty Party 22. Now, last week's winner, have I added him to the list? Yes, I have. Callum Wilkie comes to the list. Now, we'll read out what we got right now. We'll go through round 1. Midfielder, we had Tom Liberatore. Round 2, Luke Jackson. Then it went James Warple, Jake Waterman, Harley Reid, Darcy Jones, Nick Dacos with Peter Dacos as team manager, Christian Petrarca, Jeremy McGovern, Toby Green, Joel Amati, Dan Houston, George Wardlaw, Sam Flanders, Paddy Cripps, and Callum Wilkie. Now this week, it's out of, obviously, 2 people, as it always is. And I've put it up. We've mentioned one person earlier. We've mentioned 2 of them, but the first person I'm going to go with, Western Bulldogs key forward, Jamal Ugle-Hagan. Just the energy he brings when he's up and about with his hands is just enormous, and I reckon he'd be excellent on a night out and definitely brings the energy down in that forward line. And the second person is leading his club by example, and just he's helped them this run back into the top 8 after a shocking start there. In the top 4 now, it is the Brisbane Lions captain, Lachie Neale. So there's your 2 people for a Marty Party 22. Make sure to get on our story and post your votes in the poll so you can have your say. Then they'll be added to the team as we're getting closer to the end of the season, meaning that the team will be announced very soon. Now, let's go on to the tips for next week. Nice, short, sweet episode, this one. Few mishaps happened, so there'll be a little bit more editing for me to do with that one. but I'm sure to have someone on with me next week. Round 19 is Essendon v Adelaide down at Marvel. I'm going to go with the Bombers. Then Saturday, 1:45 at Giant Stadium, we got GWS v Gold Coast, the Expansion Cup. Going to go with the Giants. The other 1:45 game on Saturday is St Kilda v West Coast. And I'm going to go with the Saints because it is at Marvel. If it was Optus, I would have considered West Coast. 4:30. Oh, I said 45 game before, but 4:35. I mentioned it earlier. 13th v 12th. Hawthorn v Collingwood. It's a battle in our household. My brother's a Hawthorn. I'm Collingwood. Gonna have to back my boys in. Whoever loses this game, their season's over. Let's just put it like that. 2 Saturday night games are Geelong and the Western Bulldogs. At GMHBA, I'm going to go with the Cats. Port Adelaide v Richmond at Adelaide Oval. Going to go with Port. Brisbane v the Swans. I'm going to go with the Lions. Oh, Brisbane v Swans at the Gabba. I'm going to back the Lions in. Lachie Neale to lead them. Freo v Melbourne at Optus. Going to go with the Dockers. And Carlton v North at Marvel Stadium. I'm going to go with the Blues to bounce back after a few disappointing weeks. Well, that has it. That's going to wrap up this week's episode. Make sure to follow us on all our socials, @UpTheGuts_. Turn that notification bell on as well and subscribe to YouTube. Follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Until next week, see ya.